If you ever wanted a Razer Blade laptop, well, they're going to make it a little easier for you by bringing down the price. This is the base model, the Razer Blade 15. Today I'm going to give you a quick review and tell you what I think. Stay tuned. All right, we're back from CES 2019, and there, Razer showed off the Blade 15 Advanced model, which is getting NVIDIA RTX graphics. This version, though, is the base model, and it still has GTX graphics, specifically the GTX 1060. So it's a bit older, it's a little bit thicker, but you do get an Ethernet port and some other bells and whistles too. Starts at $1599, but I'm not really sure the value is completely there, especially when you look at the competition. Let's go through the specifications and show you what you get. Looking at the exterior of the base 15, it looks just like the regular Razer Blade. So this is the new squared off design, which I really enjoy. I think this is just a smarter and more modern look. You still get the snake logo on the back. It does glow, so nothing unique there. You do pick up a little bit of fingerprints on the exterior. It's not too bad though, better than in previous years. But you will have to wipe this down on occasion. Now looking at the side here, there's a couple things to point out. First of all, this is about 2 millimeters thicker than the Razer Blade Advanced model. Is 2 millimeters huge? No, you do notice it, but that's what you get here. It's a little bit thicker, and because of that though, you do get a full Ethernet port, which is actually really nice to have in a 15-inch gaming laptop, something you don't get in a Razer Blade Advanced. You also get 2 USB Type-A's, a headphone jack, and a barrel charger. This thing does use a 230-watt charger. As far as that goes, this is actually a very compact one. You gotta give Razer credit here. You gotta carry around a large charger. This is the one I'd wanna carry. Look at the right-hand side, you get a Kensington lock, mini display port, HDMI, USB-A, and a USB Type-C with Thunderbolt 3. Looking at the bottom here, very clean design, 2 intakes for the fans, which are very visible, and you do have the exhaust over here on top. Very clean design. This does use a new vapor chamber design for cooling the chipset and GPU, and it seems to work pretty well. The fans, you will hear them absolutely when gaming or doing even a Windows update, so this isn't the most silent laptop, but the fans are much better than previous years. All right, now looking at the display, and this is where things get a little interesting. So it's a 15.6-inch full HD display. It is matte, non-touch, as Razer only has touch in a 4K model, which is going to be the Advanced. Now, this is a 60 Hz panel. That bothers me a little bit. I get it, it's the base model. If you want higher, 144, you have to get the Advanced, but I feel like 60 Hz, especially in the more premium laptops, it's getting a little old for gaming, but it's a very good display. You're talking around 94% sRGB, which is pretty good for color accuracy, and around 72% for Adobe RGB. It's a nice display though. I like looking at it. I feel like I could stare at it for hours, which is going to be really important if you're gaming on this for a long time. Brightness is very even, and you do get those nice thin bezels in this new modern design. You do get a web camera on top here. No Windows Hello built into this. So if you've been following our CES coverage, the new Razer Blade 15 Advanced does have Windows Hello up here in the top. This one does not though, and that's kind of a letdown. Now turning to the keyboard and the main deck here, you do get nice large speakers that flank the keyboard. And you know, I really like this design. Razer's always been pretty good with audio here. And as far as gaming laptops go, this is, in my opinion, one of the better audio systems you can get. Having said that, it's not really perfect either. So the mids and highs are very good on this, but there's really no subwoofer built into this, so you don't get a lot of good lows. And that's a shame, because at nearly 20 millimeters thick, there's definitely room in this chassis to put in a subwoofer, or at least use the body to help resonate audio. I've seen this in even smaller laptops than this one. So it's technically possible, but Razer hasn't done it. Now, again, the Razer Blade 15 Advanced, they did tune the speakers to actually fix that a little bit. We're not getting that here though. Very good audio, could be better though. All right, now looking at the keyboard, and we do see some design changes here. So overall, the look and feel of it is very similar to the Advanced. It's a very good keyboard. It's one thing I've always said about Razers. I just enjoy typing on them. You do get the full arrow keys too. Again, super important for gaming laptops. I think it's a letdown when companies don't do that. You do get a single zone lighting system here, so if you're into the chroma stuff, you know, it looks great, but you can't do individual keys. But as a trade-off, you do get the function keys lit up with this one, which is something that's just now coming to the Advanced model. So really good design. I really enjoyed typing on this. I think it's a great keyboard. Now looking at the trackpad here, this is one of the largest you'll find on any laptop, at least a Windows one. Still pales compared to a Mac. Very good trackpad. I kind of wish this trackpad would just be in all laptops. Precision, smooth, massive, good palm rejection. I've had no problems with this trackpad. Just an excellent design. All right, let's talk a little bit about specifications here. You're getting an Intel Core i7-8750H. Does a Coffee Lake processor. It's a little bit old, but boy, it's a performer. It is 6-core, and it does exceptionally well in our benchmark tests. The GTX 1060, however, is a Max-Q design. It's still a really good GPU, and you're going to be able to get some really good graphics performance here for pretty much all of the main video games out there. Obviously, a 1070 or 1080 would be better, and even better than that, it'll be the new 2060, 2070, 2080. But you have to shell out a lot more money to get that one. Now, some other changes here. You do get an SSD, your choice, 128 or 256. It's a very good SSD. We're talking over 3,000 for sequential on reads, which is exactly what you want. In addition to that, you do get a hard disk drive with 1 or 2 terabytes. I really appreciate having that. While having a 1 terabyte SSD is really nice, it is easy to run out of space. Having that hard disk drive is pretty good for storing a lot of video games, something you can't do. But there's a trade-off there as well, because they got to fit in the hard disk drive. Well, the battery is going to be smaller. So instead of an 80-watt battery, you're getting a 65-watt in this version. That's a pretty good size. You're not going to get a ton of battery life out of this. They're saying around 6 hours. It's actually a little bit less than that in real-world usage. So this is mostly going to be something you're going to want to use plugged in. When it comes to RAM, you get 16 gigabytes. It's very good. You can go up to 32 gigs if you want to. It is dual channel after all. If, however, you want to go to 64, well, you're going to have to go with the Razer Blade 15 Advance, which now can take up to 64 gigs of RAM, which is pretty awesome. Let's talk a little bit about pricing here. So the base model actually starts at $1599, although you can go up to $1799 if you increase the storage. The pricing is a little bit high, but it's not exactly crazy either. Now, one of my favorite gaming laptops for 2018 was the MSI GS65 Stealth. Gave it an exceptional review, and when you compare the pricing to that, for $1849 or about $50 more than a top version of the base model, you can get a GTX 1070 and a 144Hz display. That actually makes a huge difference in performance for an extra $50. Now, when it comes to build quality, that's where things differ. If I had to choose between Razer and MSI, I would actually always go with Razer. There's just something about these laptops that just look really nice. You're going to get very good audio, really good keyboard, and they just look cool too. And they don't look crazy. When you can take them to a coffee store and just use it in public, well, it's a really nice feature to have. The MSI GS65, you know, it looks pretty tame, but this is going to be a better build quality and it feels better to use. And that is a value to some people. Having said that, if you really value performance and you're going to be staring at a screen all day, I do think the MSI is going to be a little bit better of a value, especially since that GTX 1070 outperforms the 1060 by quite a bit. Okay, let's bring it all in. So the Razer Blade 15 base, well, it's not cheap, it's not affordable, and it's not even the best value out there, but you are getting that Razer Blade quality. I think for some people it's actually worth it. These are kind of the gaming laptops I prefer to use. While the MSI actually outperforms it and then it's a better value in some ways, it's not as cool or as nice to use as the Razer Blade. Now, two things I'd like to see Razer do to this laptop is add Windows Hello to the base model, at least offer the option for a 144Hz display. I think it makes a huge difference in gaming. And while the GTX 1060 here is limited to what it can actually output, still having that 144Hz option is pretty nice. Overall though, if you're looking for a real premium laptop that you don't mind taking around with you to the coffee place, well, this is a pretty solid choice. If you want the best performance though and best value, well, I think there are better options out there as well. All right, so there's a quick look at the Razer Blade 15 base model. It's now available. If you want more information about it, hit the description below where we'll have some links for it. If you liked this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone.